In January 2008, Ecademy subject matter experts Thomas and Penny Power had their knowledge productized for global release. The video you're about to watch is the result of that process. To find out how to create your own line of knowledge products for global monetization, or to view videos from other knowledge experts, visit www.productizeyourself.com.
So you have to figure out how you describe your products and services as the buyer, not the seller. So one of the things you might want to do is sit down with another Ecademy member and say, look, these are my products and services. This is how I describe them. How would you describe them? So they can give you the prompts. They can give you the words that they would use. Because, learning online and cycle clothing doesn't get us, the buyer, the results that you want us to get as Colin and as Amy. We're not getting what you want us to get using your words. Okay? And you want us to find you through your words. Okay? This is really, I think, quite significant to learn, because this is how MarketPlace works. It's all very well writing an ad, getting the headline, filling in the text, and putting in the tags. But if you get no response to those adverts at all, then the adverts are wrong. It's not the product is wrong, it's not the service is wrong. But if you get no response, the way you've described it is wrong. And this is my worry when people say, I'm really focused on my industry, I really know my industry inside out, and nobody else knows it inside out, and they don't know any of those words.
But Thomas, just to clarify something for me, perhaps for others, would you try to use similar words or the same words in both the heading and in the text and in the tags?
Yes, it makes sense to do so. But think about the fact that if it's too dull, people are only going to read it once and they'll never read it a second time. Now, if I zoom back in here on this section, you can see MarketPlace, latest listings. But here you've got popular keywords and all keywords. If I click there on the popular keyword tags, the system then loads the words that people are tending to be using on the whole in the Ecademy system. That's all the words. So if I just take this, if I zoom in, say, on this directory section, since we were talking about directories a moment ago, these are the words that people are tending to use most of the time. Okay, so these are the popular words. And bear in mind there were people who've understood how to communicate externally through their adverts, and people who haven't understood. And this is a new world, remember. People have not been taught this at school or at university yet. You're effectively learning how people look through the equivalent of Yellow Pages directories online. These are computers serving data back based on the search queries given to them. So spend an awful lot of time on these words in the headline, in the text, and in the tags. And if you need advice, if we zoom in here on all the keywords, what this provides you with is guidance on all the different words. So you've got 21,404 words that are used. But if you look next to each word, it tells you how many times a particular word has been used. The more often a word has been used, the more likely is that the word works. Okay? So we're trying to get the system to educate you to write smarter advertisements, but you've still got to absorb the concept of this into your mind so you can think like a buyer, not a seller. And if you're selling products, you want to think like a seller. You can't help it. But when we looked for those houses in Berkshire, we put houses Berkshire. If that's how people look, that's how they should be presented. Paul.
But very often when you see that when you've done houses Berkshire, you see that the list is far too wide, so you then you do a second search, at least I do, and narrow that down.
Correct.
Would you try and interpret that? Would you try and anticipate that?
Yes, well, the way to interpret that is to think about it in terms of the tags. if I zoom in here, see if I can find anything where we've got property. This isn't to do with property, but it's to do with furniture. Here we've got an organisation called Kieran, who clearly provides office furniture and office equipment in Belfast. That's what the headline is. So Belfast office equipment and office furniture makes sense for a search. But then look at the tagged words: Belfast office furniture, Belfast office interiors, Belfast office equipment, Belfast local events, Belfast local news, Belfast letting agents. So Belfast letting agents, Belfast office equipment. Not an obvious link, but it is if you're thinking like a buyer, because you would associate those two things together. Anybody letting offices is probably going to want to consume office equipment or office furniture for. So Kieran is learning to think like this, and notice also he's put Belfast into his name because he wants to associate himself with Belfast. So he's really thinking it through at a geography level as well. I think this is quite an art to learn at the moment. It's not yet a science. Now, let me tell you what I do, because when you become a Life member, when you become a Black Star, you get your own marketplace. And one of the things that the Life members get is the ability to have their ads reposted every week, so they don't have to keep loading them time after time after time after time, because that, is time that people don't necessarily have. If I just call up all the advertisements that I've posted myself, you can see I'm zooming in there, and you can see I'm clicking there on my listings, and you can see I've got 29 listings listed. I've got network training, I've got joining Black Star, and joining Black Star with different text but meaning the same message. So there you go. I'm talking there about I do non-executive directing of other organizations, sit on their boards as a non-executive, not an executive director. Look at the way I've described all of these different services effectively the same way, with different tags, different phrases, looking for every particular type of search that people would make in that particular area of expertise. Look how one is viewed 94 times, one is viewed 140 times, only with slight change of text, slight change of words. 403 views. So the system is actually counting how many people are looking at it, both inside Ecademy, inside the group who've joined, and outside externally to non-members. And as the number of views goes up and down, you can see what's working for your advertising and what isn't. If your ads are not viewed, then they're not very well written. But you can get even more intelligent with this, because if I zoom in here and I click on hits for my listings, the system will tell you not just how many people have viewed your particular listings, but who has viewed them as well, what time and which advert they looked at. And that's obviously a very, very powerful backdrop to this kind of advertising. You know not just how many people have looked at them, but you know who's looked at them, when they looked at them, or which advert they looked at. That's a very, very powerful way to measure your advertising. And if you're not getting the response you expect, if you're not getting the results you expect, the inquiries you expect, the sales that you expect, then what you've written is not suitable. And you need to recognize that and adjust it. And if you don't have that expertise, if it's not an area of expertise you have, outsource it to somebody who does. There's plenty of people in this network who have this level of expertise.